What makes us strong? The human connect. Through time, we move on. Even when the world is in free fall, we evolve. Technology drives our evolution. Through life, changing work life. From office spaces to workplaces. From skills to capabilities. From employees to a talent workforce. From an endless loop to a full circle. And that is who we are. We bring your people together across locations, cultures, boundaries. To find joy through your experiences, to find meaning, your purpose. And as you evolve, so do we. We see the future through your eyes, and we bring it to life now. We are your momentum, your liftoff. We are your evolution. We are people strong.
Thank you. Am I audible right at the back? Perfect. Good afternoon. I've been thinking if we all wake up healthy on a Monday morning, I think we would have revenged COVID and we would have declared victory on this infection, right? Because this conference has just been a fabulous way to meet people that I haven't really met, consolidated over the last 24 months. But the session is not really all about just me and people strong. I guess we will have a real case study from one of the largest organizations in a short while from now, from a very, very humble man. But just before we get started, let me just set a bit of a context. Just over the last 24 months, we've been hit with headlines from COVID to trade war to the great resignation at one end. And just over the last few months, we've essentially heard a lot about hiring freeze, some layoffs, many organizations going back and re-questioning their work from home and their hybrid workplace policies. Also, just this morning, I was hit by news, maybe if you subscribe to that letter, you would have received that as well, where the global CEO of Google has put HR in charge of employee productivity improvement. Swiggy has allowed its employees to pick up external projects, and some of the most notable organizations in India and across Asia even are going back to the whiteboard to rewrite their work from home policies. Now that's been the volatility that we've essentially been seeing. But one thing which has just been at the epicenter over the last 24 months and is here to stay is the entire focus from business and organizations to people. It has been the focus from profits to mutual prosperity. It's been the focus from me to we. It's been the focus towards the talent economy, which by far has the largest and the best negotiating power on the table today. And I guess that's all about the Industrial Revolution 4.0 or the HR Tech 4.0 that People Strong has actually been speaking about. We fundamentally believe that organizations that are now going to be called the breakout companies will essentially be the ones in the most simplest of the definitions that are able to get 20% of discretionary effort from their employees when no one is watching them. The vital constant that we've essentially seen across the entire disruption to transformation to reinvention as at the bedrock has been because of technology, right from the era of steam engine to the today era of metaverse, which is soon becoming a reality. We do believe that the new world is asking for a decentralized, autonomous organization. What does that mean? Look at a parallel example of what cryptocurrency is essentially doing, decentralization. Look at the entire invention of the metaverse, decentralization. And that's fundamentally where everybody is moving. The bet that we're taking at People Strong is one around creating a hyper-personalized experience for your employees. Today it's a lot more broken because what you consume and how you are treated as consumers by Netflix, Amazon, anything else that you essentially consume, right from PVR, booking your movie tickets to getting on to Make My Trip, even getting a hotel booking done, is vastly different from how you essentially get treated as employees because of that disintegrated employee experience. I don't know for what reason, HR tech has always had payroll sitting on the periphery. It's never been a part of that. Learning has been sitting on the periphery. It's never been a very, very integral part of that. Compensation management has always been sitting on the periphery. It's never come to in a unified manner because maybe we were committing the same mistake that we did in defining our HR structures or performance and rewards, learning and development, talent acquisition, OD, sitting as silos, while what your business has been expecting of you is to deliver a high-performance workforce. We did everything possible to give that personalized experience to about 10-15% of our high pods, but what about the rest 85% of our employees? Breakout companies, 20% discretionary effort across the board. You need to create a hyper-personalized experience on the entire life journey of an employee. We've been hit badly over the last 24 months where business seeked agility in a very, very desperate manner. For the simple reason that whatever we planned for just fell through the cracks. And we realized that we can never plan for the future, but we can certainly be prepared for the future. And that's calling for unprecedented agility in your technology. Because when COVID hit, we realized we had great spend on technology, but very little of that was relevant the moment we were all sent into our remote locations. So business agility, today, if you talk about much of your technology is going to respond with levels of customizations that has about 3 to 6 months of turnaround time and a long invoice. We do believe, and our bet is, it's less about customization, it's significantly more about configurations in the world that you and I are living in today. And the third for us is data-driven decisions. Until now, we've looked at data through a rear view mirror lens, which fundamentally means we've been driven by benchmarks. The 10 organizations have done it, so we're very happy to be the 11th one to essentially be doing it. It fundamentally kills innovation if you're the 11th company to follow the track. Data helps organizations create customized and very, very focused decisions on literally the entire of your employee pool. And that becomes the biggest differentiator that you will have, because that data tells you to take a decision that no one else in your industry has taken, and that gives you a bit of a head start. So fundamentally, it's not going to be around judgment. It's going to be a lot more about data that helps you win in the game of talent economy. That's really what our future bet has been: hyper-personalized experience for employees, convergence of consumer and HR tech. You can't differentiate between the two. Give that agility to business where technology is a solution for business. It's not the other way around where business is adapting to the constraints that the technology comes in with. And the third is, let the data tell me through my technology, bringing in a level of analytics which gets me the conviction on the data, not because 10 companies have done it, so I will not get it wrong, because I want to be the first one to essentially be able to doing it. And now we have an example of an organization and of a very, very humble leader who's not run HR, but built HR in two of the largest financial services companies in the country, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and today, a largest financial services conglomerate, Aditya Birla Capital. In his tenure, Aditya Birla Capital has seen triple its employee strength from 10,000 to 30,000, quadrupled its number of branches to 2,500 branches today and growing. He just inaugurated one integrated branch experience in Connaught Place today, and across 8 different legal entities. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome SUBHRO BHADURI. Wonderful, sir. Yeah, the middle one.
Thank you, Sandeep, for your kind words. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be talking about Aditya Birla Capital in front of you, wherein I'd like to share a brief journey wherein we embarked upon creating a hyper-personalized workforce management system. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So when we started off, we had, in fact, we are into various lines of businesses within financial services. So it means that different regulators you need to take into account when you're managing the workforce. We are also looking at workforce which has a complete diversity in terms of where they come from, and also from the point of age group, and obviously multiple other levels of diversity. We're also talking about business which wants to grow and scale. Sandeep talked about some of the elements of our growth. And we're also looking at business which is going to move into tier 4, tier 5 cities in the country. So how do you go about creating synergistic and a productive work environment was the biggest challenge which we were faced with. So our vision was to bring everything together and create a hyper-personalized service wherein not only you get people to come and work together, but also collaborate in a space wherein you have an infrastructure which helps you to get together and also seamlessly deliver towards customer delivery. So we are talking about multiple initiatives around the employee life cycle, and obviously, as you talked about, there were different silos in which we were operating. And how do you get an integrated view onto the whole thing? How do you get analytics into what is productivity across the firm? How do you get people to help deliver as soon as they are onboarded? How do you integrate training and development? And hence, there was a need to have an integrated technology solution which would help us to get into this kind of platform. Now, if I talked about a couple of imperatives which were more strategic for us in nature, but we needed to bring a technology which would help us to deliver the same. Now, you know that age-old system of having an HRMS, and where in multiple places employees will go and try to figure out how they want to deliver, was the way it was, to a place where you get a bot helping you, to a place where you're able to chat, a place where you're able to do all your employee self-service or a manager self-service through a handheld mechanism or through a web, was a solution. Also wanted to be much more flexible, because like COVID is a time where you had to create a different kind of information system which the systems are not geared for. How many people are affected by COVID, how many people are going through vaccination, and those kind of intelligent initiatives. So you needed a kind of flexible platform through which you bring in, and obviously talent marketplace, a big thing around how do you help people to choose their careers. How do you get managers to see who's ready to become your potential internal candidate? Or what is the kind of delivery one should embark upon in terms of looking at a role which is 3 levels above, and what is the kind of development one should get into? getting this entire thing integrated and also helping people to do it, get into an empowered mode. Because with such decentralized businesses spread over India in tier 4, tier 5 towns, you needed a system by which people are empowered to sort of deal with all these elements in their hand. And hence, we embarked upon the whole journey with partnership with People Strong. It's been a very long journey. I think we've been with People Strong for the last 14 years. And in last 6 years, we scaled up. We got the entire integration between all the systems aligned in the workspace. I think it's been a big journey to sort of make that transition happen. And I'm happy to say that there's been significant impact on each of the areas, right from getting in to a super app to giving people the entire, as I talked about, in their hand, the entire accountability to whether you want to do your attendance, to you want to do your talent profiling, to looking at your leadership development requirement, or even for a manager to know whether the person has come to office or not in terms of geotagging. So each and every area was sort of worked upon. And I'm very happy that this journey has been very fruitful, and productivity is an area where we got significant impact from what we embarked upon. So these are some of the elements which I was talking about. So if you look at the kind of transactions, look at the kind of reach which we have and the kind of activity which we do, we needed an integrated solution to leverage our workforce and deliver towards business. And I'm happy that we've been able to deliver in partnership with People Strong and through our tech-enabled HR operations team. And lastly, I'm happy that the Net Promoter Score has been seeing a very healthy score, and which is amongst some of the best in the world. And it's not that, mostly you will hear that when you have HR operations or HR tech, you get a lot of employee having noise that things are not working. This is a proof of how well things are going on. I'm not saying that we have completed our journey. There are multiple areas we are working upon, and I'm very hopeful that there is a better day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have a couple of minutes left, and it's an opportunity for us to just get a little deeper into how this journey was actually architected by SUBHRO. I know it was not very simple and easy for you to build a business case for this transformation. How at different milestones of this transformation, SUBHRO, were you able to show the right return on the investment back to business? What was in it for the business to literally commit themselves to this journey over the years?
To me, it's like creating the infrastructure, right? Whether you have the physical infrastructure or you have a digital infrastructure or you have the HR tech, without this, it's not about what return, it's the survival itself was difficult. You couldn't have done without an integrated system, and clearly the management of the whole process and which is with data analytics backed, and which is something like on the go, you are able to get that kind of feedback, was only possible when you had a technology which was backing up. So if you look at any business which has to onboard thousands of people in various parts of the country, how would you do if you are not online and available at that moment, and you are, let's say, even our interview process, we are able to, we have automated the interviewing process. Many levels we don't need our managers to travel. So whether you onboard them, whether you interview them, so there is a significant amount of return. The HR team is able to focus more on engagement rather than doing many of these mundane activities. And that's what tech has completely changed. It's not about HR only. The managers themselves, they are able to take decisions wherein they always needed HR to help. So there's multiple areas which we have been able to change till now, but there's another journey which has to be made further.
No, most certainly. And there isn't any successful journey with its own risks and failures, right? Talk to us about some of the misses. In hindsight, I'm quite certain there are some very accomplished HR people in front of us who might be midst planning for this journey. What can they learn from the things that you feel you missed, should have been done differently?
I think I have my colleagues also sitting here, they know. The beginning is very difficult and the transition is very difficult when you start off with. The first is that we need to have patience when we want to make this change. Everybody, because if you're running multiple lines of business and you want to have a process which is seamless between the businesses, there is an element of change which happens within. And you need to adapt to the technology. It's not that the technology would always adapt. There is a possibility of sudden adaptation. This whole emphasis of change management is something which we missed when we started embarking upon this initiative. And I think as you go forward, strengthening of change management is the most important element in driving tech change in an organization.
No, wonderful. And lastly, Subhro, you certainly committed to a journey, right? I do believe that there isn't any destination that we have to get to. What's next for Aditya Birla Capital from an HR transformation standpoint?
I think we are looking at that, this whole interface in a manner that it helps significantly to improve empowerment at branch manager levels and the sales levels. So we would like them to take most of the decisions for which they had relied upon from support from HR. So able to hire, able to train, send people for training, or able to decide on who should get into a career growth. Now, to get all these things together, there is a huge amount of data integration which is needed between multiple systems and availability of intelligent data. It's not about just the data, but how intelligent it is and how it is backed by analytics, so that the decision making is broadly based on data, and there are some checks and balances which you maintain. I think that's what we want to move ahead with, and hence the creation of talent marketplace is the biggest work which we will embark upon as we go forward.
No, wonderful. Thank you so much. Just as a conclusion of the session, literally every company that you speak with would promise that we are a customer-centric company, but very few actually succeed in that endeavor. And the ones who succeed in that endeavor, and this is not our research, this is a very famous research from HBR, the Harvard Business Review, are companies that are first employee-centric because you can't eradicate hunger with hungry people. And I guess that's fundamental to the success of organizations like Aditya Birla Capital and a few others that truly have been able to accomplish the mission and the endeavor of customer centricity by first creating a very, very employee-centric environment. So I would strongly urge, if you are doing a whole lot of market research to understand exactly what the behavior and the consumption pattern of your consumers and customers are, please take a step back and try and understand what your employee preference is, and don't do that just for like 10% of your employee population. If you really want to be an aspiring breakout company, do that for 100% of your population, and you can do that by, I guess, what we very successfully learned from the journey of Aditya Birla Capital. Thank you, Subhro, for being very humble and understated in talking about your accomplishments, but it's been a privilege for us to be serving you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.